Well, a pension fund reform proposal by the South African government is in the pipeline to better benefit South Africans. Approximately 75% of the population reach retirement age without a funded pension benefit and as a result rely on government social grant programs. Joining us for more on this now is the head of actuaries and consultants at Old Mutual, Michelle du Toit. Michelle, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. So we've had Budget 2013 really putting the focus on retirement reform, and that part of a bid to improve savings and the savings culture in South Africa, reduce the dependence that we're seeing on state coffers by South African citizens. Overall, have you read this as a positive for the industry, the kind of retirement reform that's been projected?
Yes, good afternoon. Hugely positive. There's a number of sustainable changes that they're looking at making that I think in 10, 20 and 30 years time will make a huge difference to South Africans, because as you mentioned earlier, currently people are retiring who do not have enough money to retire on.
Okay, well, we'll be taking a look at the detail of the proposals that have been put on the table. But for now, what was highlighted was a strong commitment for collaboration with the retirement industry. What's your assessment of that relationship as it stands right now? Because leading up to the budget, it seems that Treasury has taken into account some of the feedback that it's received from industry at large.
Yes, I think that that's definitely come through strongly today. This paper has shown that all the commentary coming through from industry has been listened to and responded positively. The changes have shown that they're planning on using the private sector and the current retirement industry to partner with government and partner with the National Treasury to assist in bringing these reforms over the next couple of years.
So let's drill down into some of these reforms. I mean, we've of course heard that the proposals to enforce default annuity and compulsory preservation options in retirement funds come to the fore, the allowance of one withdrawal per year from preservation funds as well. So really encouraging the move towards compulsory preservation. Implications for you as an industry player, because this has huge implications as far as administrative costs are concerned and costs overall.
It does. I think the idea of one withdrawal per year is it's definitely moving in the right direction, because currently within preservation funds there's that one withdrawal per lifetime, which creates almost a behavior: if I don't use it, I'm going to lose it, and therefore people are taking it out of the system and cashing in when actually they shouldn't. This move towards you can take one per year withdrawal means that people are actually going to be thinking, I don't have to use it, so therefore I can leave it and wait a bit longer. It is, of course, going to mean huge administrative changes, but we're going to be given enough time, because in the paper they talk about this being implemented 2015 or slightly later. So I do think that we are going to be given enough time to bring the administrative processes in place to do the changes. The other thing which is good is the fact that they are bringing a cap to how much can be withdrawn. So they're looking at this withdrawal not to be used as a short-term savings vehicle, but actually if needed for necessities. So with having a cap on that limit, and also if you don't use that limit you can roll it over to the next year, means that there won't be that feeling, if I don't use it I'm going to lose it, but I can just leave it to the following year. So there will be administrative changes for the industry, but I think it'll create a mindset change, which is promising, because at the moment South Africans do not have a savings culture, and I think just having this changing, that I can just leave it saving for one extra year, will create a different culture within South Africa over time.
To what extent does this then force you as an industry player to rethink the kind of offerings you're putting on the table for customers, for the average South African, where some people are in need and require access to these products?
I think it's going to create a whole different thinking around the whole side of preservation funds, because currently the default in the retirement fund industry has been, let's take our benefit out in cash. So there's been a huge drive around the advice to try and motivate people going into the system, where now with a new process it's going to be, default is going to be not to take out in cash, but the default is going to be to automatically preserve. So there's going to be, the product designing is going to be how to get people to keep their money in the system. and no longer to get it in there in the first place. So that is going to be the one side. I think cost element is going to be another. I think from that point of view there's going to be a huge side of how we're going to keep the costing low and attract and retain and show what at best interest it is for the members to keep their money into the preservation fund.